purpose of this world and what is the purpose of their own living in this world, most of the times we all become blank because we don't know why are we all here and what is our purpose and what is the purpose of so many things that are there in the world. So we all do not have a right answer for all these questions. So this entire course is going to give you many fundamental truths to life about God. Bhagavad Gita teaches 5 subject matters. First, that is Ishvara. Ishvara is God. Second, Atma. Atma means the soul. And the third, that is Karma, Kala, time, and Prakriti. Prakriti means the entire nature that we see in and around. So in that sense, these 5 subject matters are the most essential fundamental things that we all face every day. So we are all going in, as soon as we get up, we go in front of God and we do pray. So, but if we do not know who is God and what is the relevance of God in my life, if we do not have understanding about all these things, then most of the times we are all like blind. Though we may study science, though we may have so much of education, but if we do not have sufficient understanding about all these, then we all land up like becoming like a superstitious. So in that sense, one of the student, when I was giving a session at college RV, Bangalore, there one of the student raised his hand and he asked a question. And I found that question was very relevant and that question had a great weight. He asked, "Sir, can you show me God? If you can show me God right in front of my eyes, then I believe that God exists." Then for a moment I was thinking, how should I give an answer to this question? And next moment I asked him a question. So do you see this light? Yes, I'm able to see the light. So then here I asked him, so if you are able to see this light, and what is making this light glow? Then he said, passing of electricity. Electricity, he was an engineering student, so he knew that just because the electricity is flowing, then the bulb is glowing. It is emitting light. So then I asked him, so are you able to see the electricity? Electricity means what? The flow of electrons. So are you able to see the electrons? He said, no, of course not. I'm unable to see any electron. Then I asked him, so do you believe that electrons exist? Otherwise, how could there be any electricity? Yes. Yes, I do believe that electricity is there and electrons are there. Then I asked him, you're unable to see electrons, but you still believe that electricity is there and the light is glowing. So similarly, we do not see many things in this world. For example, we are all breathing. So do we see that the air is there? Yes, we do believe. Otherwise, we wouldn't be existing. And similarly, but air is there, but I am unable to see. But doesn't mean that air is not there. Similarly, we may not see the hand of God or we may not see God through our eyes. Just because we do not see doesn't mean that he is not there. So, does God exist? Most of the times people do ask this simple question is, if God exists, I should be able to see him. So the eyes to see electron was not through just mere these eyeballs, but through when you pass through a bulb, you can see that electrons are there. Similarly, we may not be able to see God through our naked eyes, but one can understand the presence of God through so many effects that are there in the world that we are able to see every day. Every day there is a rising of the sun at same time, and at every time there is a setting of the sun. If you can understand, so many things of this world are coordinating with each other, and the living entities are also getting coordinated with each other. So all these are possible only because of the presence of God. So yesterday also Bhagavat Shravan Prabhu would have given you wonderful examples of the and logic behind the existence of God. So today our understanding would be one step ahead. That is, okay, if God is existing, how can I know more about God? what is the means to know God? What is the means to realize God? What is the means to get the knowledge about God? So in this world, there is very important thing is one should gain the knowledge. So there was a ship that was sailing in the ocean, and this ship was had a very strong crew engineering team, who were all from best of the institutes. So all these people, they were all sailing across the ocean. At that moment, so suddenly the ship stops functioning. The engine stops functioning. At that moment, all the crew engineering team come and they check. At that moment, they see that whatever the knowledge they had, it is unavailable. They are unable to know what exactly is the cause. So then immediately there was another ship that was passing by, and they had one of the best experienced for long number of years. He was working in ship industry, and then they call him up, and after they call him, he comes and he checks. He was not a very educated person. He did not have very good degrees, but he saw that, but he was quite experienced. So as soon as he saw the engine is not functioning, at that right moment, he asked, "Can you get me a hammer?" So then they got him a hammer, and then he started banging at one particular place. And within few minutes, the engine started picking up and it started functioning. And the entire crew member was very much shocked. How could he know exactly just a simple task, but how could he do it so well? So then, out of courtesy, they asked him, "So, sir, what is the bill that you charge for your work?" And that time he wrote $100. At that time, $100. So they were shocked. Just a small thing he did, and he's asking $100. So they asked her, "So can you give me the bill details?" So then he wrote, he said, $1 for banging, remaining $99 for knowing where to bang. So in that sense, so what he said is, it is a very simple thing what he did, but he had a great knowledge behind what he did. He did a very simple thing of just banging, but he had sufficient knowledge base, what he was doing and why he was doing. Similarly, in our lives, we all have been doing so many activities in the world, but if we do not have knowledge behind what we are doing and why we are doing, for what purpose are we doing, then all our knowledge will come to a halt. So that's why it's very important is, what is the knowledge that we are all carrying. So today's our special session is going to be on this topic of ways of gaining knowledge. So let me just share with all of you a document. So two processes of acquiring knowledge. So that's what is going to be the topic. So which we are all going to have for today. So there are two processes of acquiring knowledge. So as I discussed, there are 5 subject matters that Gita is talking about. That is, first is Ishvara, God, and the second thing is about Atma, oneself, and the third, that is Kala, and the fourth is Karma, and the fifth, that is Prakriti, the entire nature. That's what is going to be the discussion. So, but all these 5 subject matters, they are all not very easily understandable just by our research work. So most of this knowledge we may have to gain in through some other means as well. So that's what we are going to discuss today. There are primarily 2 processes of acquiring knowledge. The first is called ascending or inductive. Ascending means ascending, just like there is a ladder and we want to climb the ladder. So when we are climbing the ladder, we say we are ascending the ladder. So similarly, when we come down from the ladder, it is said we are descending the ladder. So similarly, the ascending process is called inductive and the descending process is called deductive knowledge. So even while gaining the knowledge, we can either go from our own expertise, from our own skills, from our own knowledge. We all can try to gain this knowledge. But That is called ascending, where we try to gain the knowledge by our own strength, by our own knowledge, by our own research. And the second process is called descending. That means deductive. Avaroha Pantha it is also called, where the knowledge is already there. We try to hear the knowledge from a person who is already very expert in that field, where we try to gain the access to the knowledge by hearing from him. So that is called deductive knowledge. For example, I would like to give you one simple thing just to make you understand this. So there was one of the student who would not like to get up early in the morning, who would always want to sleep. Even till 8 o'clock he would be asleep, and the class would be there at 8:30. He would still be asleep till 8 o'clock. And his father would come on child, wake up, it's time up for your school. You have to take breakfast, you have to take bath, and then you have to rush to the school. The child would not get up. The child would say, no, sun has not come. And the child would again take the blanket and it would put on the face and it would try to sleep. And the child would make sure that the entire windows are closed and the curtains are put so that the sunlight wouldn't pass through. And the child would say, no, sun has not come. And the child would again put the blanket and would sleep. So father was thinking, how should I make this child understand? Then father said, actually, unless you open your blanket and unless you open your curtains, you will never be able to see that God is there. You'll never be able to see that the sun has come. So the path of, now let's say, I'll give you another example where the person at night wants to see that the sun is there. The child wants to know that sun is there at night. So how to prove that sun is there? So the child has to start traveling to US, because at night the sun is there in the US. But by the time he goes, it takes 24 hours. And again he has a night at US. So he'll not be able to know. So the child, if he wants, even if he takes a torchlight and shows at this sky, still he'll not be able to see that sun is there. But if he just waits and for the sun to automatically arise in the horizon, then automatically, even without the torchlight, he can make out that sun is there. So similarly, ascending means we try with our own knowledge, just like the child was trying to know that sun is there at night, which is almost impossible. So similarly, we want to know about God through all different means. Then it almost becomes impossible to know about God. But if we just wait for the sun to rise, then automatically one can know the presence of the sun. Similarly, by a method of descending, where the knowledge comes down from the hand of God, we can know that the existence of God as well. So just like a child wants to understand who is my father, what is the best means to understand who is my father? What is the best means to understand? So people may say, no, there is a new technology that has come, that is DNA fingerprinting technique. I can know who is my father by doing a test of his DNA. So then he starts doing tests of all the people, of all the countries, region, everywhere, and he starts doing a test in test tube, putting all the inks, everything. At the final moment, it says, just to test the current population of the world, it takes 800 years. And it is said, even after testing all of them, there will be 200 people, amongst whom one would be father. So now I would like to ask you a simple question. So all of you, please tell me, what is the means that a child can know about God? So please, all of you, type in your chat box, what is the means for this child to know about father? Please type in. Okay. Wonderful. Oh, it looks like all of you have heard this session already. Okay, very good, very good. So most of you are able to give the answer. Very simple thing. Just ask your mother. So that's what is the deductive process. The first process is called inductive process, and the second process is called deductive process, which is very simple. Just ask your mother. But most of the times people do not accept this single fact of just asking a mother because of two reasons. So people generally do not ask. People generally do not ask, accept this deductive process due to, though it is quite simple and though it is quite straightforward. That means just asking a mother, and you are very sure, because the child cannot know anything of the world. Even the child wants to know who is the sun. That time still mother is the one who is going to tell you. Whatever things are there of this world, that is also known only by the help of the mother. So similarly, people to ask, can you give proof for us for the existence of God? This is what people do ask. Okay, we accept that, okay, you are saying God is there. So can you give us some proof? People do ask. So now I would like to give you another case study. There was he was one of the top celebrities of the world, and he came in front of all the audience, big audience, and then he came and said, okay, if God exists, let him come in front of me right now. This is what he said. And then all the people were shocked. So I'm going to count next 10, 9, 8, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. And then all the people were shocked. At that time they're thinking, oh, is God existing? If he was existing, he should have come. And then the whole audience was quiet and nobody was speaking anything. They were just watching what he's going to do next moment. And then he declared to everyone that God doesn't exist. If he was there, he should have been present right now. Then all were thinking, yes, if God is there, why he didn't come? So what would be your response? You all can type in the chat. What would be your response if you would have been one of the person in the audience? So please type in your chat box. What would be your response? You are also seeing one of the person is speaking in this audience. He is standing in the auditorium and he's speaking that if God is this, let him come right now in front of me. Then I'll believe that God is there. What would be your experience? Okay. So what do you justify him? So I'm getting some answers. You'll feel sorry for his ignorance, but how do you prove that he is ignorant? What would be your justification? Okay, I'm getting different responses. God is there within himself. Okay, he may be one of us. He is there everywhere. Okay, why can't I see then? Okay, so wonderful. I am getting one very good answer by one of the person. So he's my very dear sir, he is Giri Ram Mohan sir. Okay, he has given call Trump. So he gave a very wonderful answer. Okay, I'll come to that point a little later. I'll just want to see other answers. We cannot see air, but we can feel. Okay. Similarly, we may not be able to see God, but we can feel him. Okay. We may not answer him, but ask him fine for himself. Okay. He can only be felt because he thinks that God can be seen with only material eyes. Okay, wonderful. Okay, we feel and perceive him. Material senses cannot see good. So wonderful. Actually, most of you have given very brilliant answers. So one answer I would like to just take, which is mentioned by Giriram Mohan sir. So I would like to welcome him also. So he says, call Trump. So he is Donald Trump, who is the president of America. So he is saying, so now if Donald Trump is there, let him come in front of me right now. Okay, you may ask like this. So is Donald Trump going to come? Okay, you may say that, oh, he cannot travel like God. So even if he has that capacity, would he like to travel? Why should he come just in front of a small fig, a person like us? He may not want to come. So similarly, Just because now if you want to have an audience with Trump, or let's say even Narendra Modi, even if you want to have an audience, is it easily possible? We need to earn the qualification to understand and meet Modi. So he will ask, okay, you want to meet Modi, so what have you done to the society? What big achievement have we done? So if let's say we have done a very major social service during the crisis of Corona, at that moment, let's say we want to introduce and we want to meet Modi, then there are good chances that we may get an audience. So similarly, we may want to meet God. So then we also need to earn the qualification to meet God. If we do not have the qualification, we will not be able to understand even if God comes right in front of us. Duryodhana was able to see God. Duryodhana had the power by which he could see Vishwarupa darshan of Krishna in front of him, but still he could not believe that he is God. So that means though God is there right in front of us, still we will not be able to see unless we develop the qualification. Just like we may ask Einstein, oh Einstein, can you prove your theory of relativity? I want to check whether it is really justified that you got a Nobel Prize for it. Now he may start saying, okay, to whom shall I prove? Should I prove to a first standard kid, or should I prove to a 12th standard student, or should I prove to a PhD scholar? So we need to get the qualification. Even if Einstein starts explaining, we will not be able to understand what he is trying to prove. Similarly, even if God comes right in front of us, if we do not have the eyes to see God, or if we do not know who is God, still we will not be able to see. And somebody who may prepare some ashes in the hand, and that time he may show, and we may start believing, yes, he is God, because we don't have what is knowledge of God. So that's why it is so important to know who is God and what is the means to know God. So now, okay, let us go ahead. So there are three kinds of proofs that we will want to understand. The first one is Pratyaksha Praman. That means through direct sense perception. So this is called Pratyaksha Praman, is one of the proof where we try to gain the knowledge through direct sense perception. We all have 5 knowledge acquiring senses. We gain the knowledge through them. That is called Pratyaksha. Second is called Anumana. That means making an inference based on the Pratyaksha that we had before. Let's say, for example, you see a fire and upon that you see there is a smoke covered. So as soon as you see next time the smoke that is there, so when you see that there is a smoke, immediately your inference would be that there must be a fire. So that is called Anuman. And the third proof, that is called Shabda. Shabda means hearing from a bona fide source. So now let's say there is another person who doesn't know fire and who doesn't know smoke. At that moment, let's say another person, so one who is having seen the fire and one who has seen that there is a smoke, and he comes and tells to another person who has not seen a fire and who has not seen the smoke. And just by gaining that knowledge from that person who has experienced, at that moment that person can gain the knowledge of inference of the smoke and the fire just by hearing. That is called Shabda. The Shabda means hearing from a bona fide source. So now the question comes, so the first proof, the first Praman, that is Pratyaksha, that is direct sense perception. Is it all-time proof? That means, can all the knowledge be gained just by this Pratyaksha? So that is the question. So is it possible? So now here you will be able to see many objects where whatever you are seeing, you don't believe it. For example, there is a small beaker of water. There is a small glass of water and a stick is placed, and that stick appears to be cut or bent. So now when you see that the stick is looking bent or cut, do you believe actually the stick is cut? No, we do not believe. Because we know there is a refraction of water. So similarly, when we are traveling on a very hot sunny day, you are traveling in a road, at that time you see you are very thirsty and you're going deserty area. At that time, throughout the entire tar road, you start seeing there is water. But when you go to that place where you are able to see water, now you no more see. So what is that called? It is called mirage. Mirage means where there is a perception of water, but actually the water doesn't exist. So here also complete knowledge by material senses like eyes or because there are four reasons for being there is a defect of these four things. So because of which so check out whether you are able to hear. Okay. How about now? Is it better? Okay. Fine. So thank you. So in that sense, we will not be able to know complete knowledge about ourselves and about the surroundings, about God, just through these senses. So that means we need some other platform by which we will be able to access this knowledge. So the second, so there are four defects because of which we won't be able to get complete knowledge. The first is imperfect senses. And the second is because there are imperfect senses, we get illusioned. And when we get illusioned, we tend to commit mistake. And when we commit a mistake, we usually don't want to share when we do a mistake. We try to hide the mistake. So that is in another sense is called cheating propensity. So all these four defects, when they are there in us, so it becomes like a block by which it becomes very difficult to access a true knowledge. So first, that is imperfect senses. So our eyes are able to see only a small portion in the entire electromagnetic wavelength. So we can see only 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer. We don't see anything else. We don't see microwaves, we don't see cosmic rays, infrarays, all those things. We just see visible range, that there are 7 colors. Only that much we are able to see. I would like to just give you a small example for this. When I was just there in one of the apartment, one of the watchmen, he had one, this was at the night, he was blowing one whistle, and as soon as the whistle was blown, there were so many dogs. They started fleeing in different directions, and I was shocked because I couldn't hear anything, and all those dogs were just going in different directions out of fear. And then I asked this watchman, what is that whistle which he blew, because of which so many dogs they flew in different directions? At that time he said, this is called dog whistle, he said. And this dog whistle works only it is beyond the range of 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, which we do not hear. So in that sense, our perception of through different senses is only within a very short range, and beyond which we do not hear anything. So similarly, we have a tendency to get illusioned. So just like I was mentioning this also, like just like you eat a lemon and then you eat an orange, what is your experience? you'll feel that orange is very sweet. And the same, you eat gulab jamun or a rasgulla or whatever sweet that you may like, and then you eat an orange. At that time, it looks very sour. So in that sense, our experience of the same orange is different at different times. So that means our tendency of senses is that we get illusioned. So this is the second defect of our senses. So this you would all have seen some of the optical illusions that you might have seen either before. So now you are all able to see a small triangle here, right? So actually, does the triangle exist? No, but you are able to see a triangle. Okay, now all of you can type what exactly do you see here in this image. So please all of you take out few seconds and type what do you see here. Okay, a man playing a guitar. Okay, wonderful. An old couple. Okay, was, and some people are able to see some two people. Okay, wonderful. Two old people. Okay, okay, bottle. Okay, so one person said I am able to see old couple, and some people are saying I am able to see a new couple. So that also is there. You are able to see there is a both old couple and a new couple. The old couple just faces are there, and the new couple, the one is playing a guitar and another is just keeping her hands on the hat. And then there is a house, and then there is a in the ear of an old man, there is one lady who is coming out from a door. It looks like that, isn't it true? The same image is able to give you different items through different perceptions. Okay, I'll show you another example. Okay, so now when you're looking at this image, what do you see? Just keep looking at the images. What is your experience? You all please type. Okay, Girirama Mohan sir is experiencing. It is revolving. Okay, what about others? Okay, somebody else is also saying yes, it is rotating. Okay, wonderful. Rotating. Okay, I think it is the same experience with everyone. Wonderful, wonderful. So the petals are actually rotating, but if you actually understand, this is just a 2D image. This is not a video, but it is looking like rotating. So how is it possible? Of course, this is not even a GIF image. So how is it possible that it is moving? Okay, I'll give you another example. Now, just a small exercise for all of you. You can keep your eyes at the center of, the point, and you can go ahead and come back. You can go ahead and come back. Please try out this and you tell me what you are experiencing. Please try out. Go ahead and come back. Okay, some people are just saying rotating, but what is your experience of rotation? Is it the same as before or something else? Okay, diamonds in circular fashion, rotating both the circles. Both are moving in the same direction or how? Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Both are moving in the opposite direction. But actually, if you see, yeah, exactly true. So both are moving exactly in opposite direction. But how is it possible? This is just an image. So this is called, I gave you just few examples to make you understand that our senses are not complete enough by which we will be able to understand God. Just the material things we don't be able to understand it perfectly. Then how can we understand God completely, who is beyond this material things? So because we have such illusions, we do commit mistakes. So this is not only with us, it is also possible with so many scientists in the world. For example, brain was thought as an organ which would cool the blood. This was earlier. And pituitary gland, which is said as master gland, it was considered as a vestige. I would like to give just another example. Just I remember the pandemic corona. There was a similar pandemic many years before, almost 2 centuries before, that is called plague. When the plague had threatened the entire world, it had affected the lives of so many people in the world. At that moment, the scientists were searching what exactly is the cause for this. At that time, they were trying to find out what is the reason. They thought the reason is exactly, we found out it is a cat. Now, what we'll do? Let us all kill the cats. So they, in a mass scale, they killed all the cats. Then, to their amazement, the plague did not reduce, but it multiplied in multi ways. Then the whole world was thinking what to do now, because why it multiplied so much? It's because the reason was not cat but a rat. Just because they killed all the cats, the rats were multiplying like anything. So the same thing would happen if we do a small mistake. Then the same thing would happen if we do not know what exactly is the cause. We may do a small mistake, but the magnitude of that mistake, the consequence of that mistake would be something very great. So in that sense, what is very important is we need to know that I cannot gain complete law knowledge on my own. Should I wait? So the small mistakes what we do, it can cause large disasters. So when we do such mistakes, the usual thing is we try to hide it. We do not want to show. That is the usual tendency of any human being. When you have copied for the first time in your college or a school, what was your experience? Did you want, let's say, a teacher would have asked you, hey, are you copying? What would be your answer? The next answer would be, no ma'am, I'm not copying. We do not want to show that we are copying. So same thing is there even in the field of science. So there have been, so one of the theory which was saying that man has come from an ape. So that time they started telling, so that man has come from an ape. So they were trying to find out a fossil which was looking like a man and at the same time an ape. But they later found out there was only one skull which had the jaw of an ape and the skull of a human being. And everyone started thinking, yes, they have found. Yes, now it is confirmed that man has come from an ape. They made this in 1912. But in 1953, everyone found that actually it was a big cheating that was done in the field of science. So many hoaxes were made. And that was called Piltdown Man hoax. So like that, so many cheating is done even in the field of science. So how to know what is exactly the right knowledge? So we cannot gain complete knowledge when we have these four propensities. So that's why it is very important. So if we want to gain knowledge, we have to overcome these four defects. Our knowledge should be beyond these four. So now, before me going into the next, can all of you type, at least one of you can type the four defects. What exactly are they? What is the first defect? Please have it on the chat. What are the four defects? First, okay, wonderful. Nutan Rao has given a good reply. Imperfect senses, exactly. Okay, second, when there is imperfect senses, what happens? The next consequence is what? Yes, exactly, to be illusioned. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, when we get illusioned, what do we do? What do we do? Yes, exactly, we do commit a mistake. Wonderful, Nutan Rao is very, okay, wonderful. I am getting answers from others also, wonderful. Okay, next, when we do commit mistake, what do? We don't want to show. We do try to hide it. We do cheating propensity. Exactly true. So very wonderful. All of you are very alert. So please be. So now we'll go ahead to the next proof, that is Anumana. Anumana means what? We speculate or we hypothesize or we theorize. We may not know the exact reason, but we start thinking, oh, this might be the cause, that might be the cause, perhaps this, or suppose that. So like this, we start thinking that might be the reason, this might be the reason. Let's say now this room is completely closed. and someone who is there at the back, who is thinking, oh, there is a big shouting that is happening in the room, and probably he starts thinking, oh, there is a big fight that is happening between two people. He may start thinking like that, but later when he opens the door and he starts thinking that, oh, there is actually a delivery session that is going on in front of so many people. So like that, anumana means we start thinking based on our past experience, but actually that might be the reason or that might not be the reason. So you all might have heard the story, 6 blind men and 1 wise man story. If any of you have not heard this story, then I would narrate. If all of you have heard, then I may not narrate the story. Any of you have not heard the story, you all please say in the chat if you have not heard the story. Oh, okay. So I think some of you have not heard. Okay, let me explain in just brief. So there were 6 blind people, and these 6 blind people had never seen an elephant in their life. Of course, they were blind. How could they see? But whatever the reason, they would have had seen some things, but at least they never had seen an elephant. At that moment, they all get a desire. Now we should see an elephant. And then all these 6 people, they come together and they start seeing what is that, how does the elephant look like, and they start touching the different parts of the elephant. Oh, this is the big stomach of the elephant, it looks like a wall. Yes, so now I found out the elephant is like a wall. And another person, he started checking the tail of an elephant and he thought, oh, elephant looks like a rope. And then another person started catching the trunk and he said, yes, the elephant looks like a snake. So like this, different people started speculating, how does the elephant exactly look like? Now, one question to all of you now. Are all these 6 blind people, what do you say about all of them? Are they right or are they wrong? Please think for a while and give an answer. Are they right or are wrong? Okay. Okay, I'm getting right, wrong. Okay. Okay, one person said right in their own perception. Okay. According to them, they are right. Okay, good. Okay, one person gave me a good answer. Yes, partially right and right in their level of understanding. Okay, right in one sense. Wonderful. Partially right. What does that mean? That means they are true in one sense. That means a part of the truth is right. A part of their understanding is truth, but if you integrate everything, then it may not be right. So one thing that requires is, it is not a complete answer, it is a partial answer, what they are saying. So similarly, the entire universe is so big, we may say only Earth has life and nowhere else there is life. And we may make this statement just because we are there in the Earth and we are able to see life, and we go to we may go at most to one of the planet and we see that I'm unable to see any other human being. So just because of that, we may say that, oh, there is no life anywhere else. So this is exactly like this, a 6 blind men and 1 wise man story. So now, how do these 6 people can get a right understanding? Can I get an answer from any of you? How do these 6 people can get a right understanding about the elephant? Yes, please give an answer in the chat, of course. Okay, group discussion. Okay, group discussion, they all come together and discuss. Okay, form a common perception if they integrate all their, okay, getting vision from a knowing man. Okay, I got a wonderful answer. That is asking a known man. Okay, one answer that I got is group discussion. How much ever they come and do group discussion, is it that they can arrive at a complete answer? At least there will be one person who would not have touched some part of the elephant. Isn't it true? So that means the complete group discussion would not still give a complete answer. So when they see a person who has seen an elephant and he comes and explains to all these 6 blind people, then these 6 blind people can actually know about the elephant. The same principle that applies to all of our lives. If we want to understand about God, or if we want to understand those things which are not perceivable to our eyes, now let's say we might have heard about Atma or spirit, or about God, whom we are unable to see or perceive in any way. Then what is the means? The only means is knowing from another person who has actually gained the knowledge. This simple fact actually can solve so many of the problems of the world. So that is called Guru. So exactly, one person gave an answer. Guru means one who has seen the truth. Tattva darshinaha. This is what Krishna says. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshinaha. Tattva darshina means he has seen all the tattvas. Tattva means the tattva of God, the tattva of the jiva or the living entity or atma, and the tattva of time, karma and prakriti. We may not be able to see ourselves through all these things, but if we have a guru who has seen it, then it is as good as we also gain that knowledge. Okay, I am hearing that this on all of you are not able to hear. If all of you are unable to hear, please reply in the chat. All of you are able to hear? Or all of you able to hear? Okay. So those who are unable to hear can please check out their settings. So, okay, fine. Okay, I think it is audible to everyone. Okay, fine. Thank you. So now next that we want to see is, so this 6 blind men and 1 wise man. So what is that exactly 1 wise man? So that is what is our Shabda Praman. Shabda Praman means where we try to gain knowledge not through our own senses, but through hearing from a person who has a right knowledge. Authority who is infallible. Infallible means there are no mistakes found in that person. He is called Chuta. Chuta means which has a fault. Infallible means Achyuta. Achyuta means one in whom there are no faults that are visible. He is called infallible person. And the second is he must be perfect. He must not have any defects in his own being. He must not have any kind of ill motivations, ill character, ill behavior, any of these things sort. Infallible, perfect and free from all kinds of defects. So what are those defects? They are the 4 which we had mentioned just before. So these one who is free from all these 4 defects, who is that person? Who is that authority? It is very good and very right answer. That is God. God is that authority in whom all these conditions do apply. There are no fallacies, there are no imperfections, there are no defects. He is that authority. And so by definition, one who has all these things is called God. And the word of that God is called scripture. So many of the times we may ask, what is scripture or what are Vedas? Today you are going to get an answer. Are Vedas completely proof? They are completely foolproof? Are there no mistakes in the Vedas? Yes, today you are going to get an answer to this question. The words of God is called scripture or Veda. Veda, very word Veda means knowledge. Vedas are not only restricted to Hindus or only to India. It is for entire humanity. It is for the entire planet Earth. It is meant for every human being. So that Vedic knowledge is what very essential in all of our lives. So you may ask, so who wrote this Vedas? Okay, before I answer that question. So you may ask now another question that, okay, I do not know, I have not seen God or I have not seen Vedas, who wrote it? So how can I accept it? So many things what we have not seen are still we do believe. Just like here when we gave an example, how many of you would have visited America? Any of you have visited America here? You all can type in the Google in your chat. Yes. Any of you have visited? Okay. Nutan Rao, one person. Okay. Few. Okay. Okay. Can you tell someone who has not visited America here? Okay, there are some more who are saying that they have not visited America. Okay, now I'll ask a question. Do you believe that Chicago is existing in America? You are not visited, but do you believe that Chicago is existing? Please reply. Yes. People are saying yes, they do believe. They have not visited, but still they do believe that it is existing. So what is the means for our proof? The only thing is we have heard from other people who have visited. It is exactly the same. When we are saying God is existing, we are believing it based on the authority of scriptures, based on the authority of self-realized souls or guru. Now, so accepting information from a bona fide authority, therefore it is very beneficial and it is very essential, because there is no other choice. What else do we have the means to know about God? We are unable to see. Okay, can we do all means of research and can we arrive at the complete knowledge of God? Even after we do it for millions of years, still we will not be able to arrive at the complete knowledge, because even just to travel in this entire material universe, what it is said is it takes so many light years just to cross this entire one galaxy. There are such millions of galaxies. So when do we arrive at right knowledge? So that's why we have no other choice than to accept the knowledge of the Vedas. And it saves our time. It is so convenient and it is so safe, because we are trying to gain the knowledge through the knowledge means which is given by God. And God cannot be understood by our blunt material senses, because God is not a being of this world. His God is beyond this matter. God is not from this world. So God can be understood only by them where the senses are our knowledge, when we receive the knowledge through the scriptures. So that's why scriptures are said as Apaurusheya. Apaurusheya means it has its divine origin. It is complete, and that's why it is called Veda. So accepting Veda is not a blind faith. So many a times people do ask, okay, Veda, who wrote it? So why should I accept? So is that person who wrote it, he doesn't have those 4 defects? Does he have or no? You may ask this question. So that's why it is said that the person who wrote the Vedas is not an ordinary mortal being. He is not a human, just a human being. He is the words of Vedas are directly coming from the mouth of God. That's why it is called scriptures. So if we have a doubt, okay, let us start analyzing it and check out whether the Vedas are true or wrong. Let us apply it and see. Now let's say I'll give you a seed and I'll tell this seed is a mango seed. Now what is the means for you to check whether that is a mango seed or a no? Okay, just put it in the earth and check the fruit of the seed, whether it is actually a mango or not. Just same way, if we do not have complete faith in Vedas, okay, let us glance at it, let us read it and try to figure out whether it is actually a fact or a wrong. Most of the times, those people who give answers saying that, oh, this is all hoax, this is all blind faith, this is all superstition, people may say like that. But those people, have they actually tried out? Many people may just be at the, before, they do not even enter into the cricket stadium and they want to comment on the cricketers and they want to comment on everything. So we do not want such things. So let us try to go deeper into it and check whether it is actually right or wrong. Now, this is one of the, so now you may ask, so where did this knowledge come from? So the knowledge has come from the Supreme, Krishna. Krishna says a verse. So this is a very wonderful verse. So you all can try, if you all can try to follow me. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. So the very Krishna is speaking here. How did this knowledge actually come down in the human being? How did it come in all of our generations? So Krishna is speaking, I gave this first time, this knowledge I gave to Brahma. How did Brahma get this knowledge? Krishna says, I gave it in the heart of Brahma. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye. Just like you share. Now, those times there were no any books, nothing of that sort. But people used to still give information. How was it possible? So Krishna used to give this knowledge in the heart of Brahma. Just like we do share files in mobile from one phone to another phone, either through Bluetooth or through Wi-Fi hotspot, all that sort. So Krishna also, why couldn't he give this knowledge directly in the heart of Brahma? And Brahma gave this knowledge to Narada, Narada gave this knowledge to Madhva, Madhva gave this knowledge to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like this, so many people in the parampara, that means the disciple, the guru gives to a disciple, and the disciple becomes a guru and he gives to his disciple. Like that, there is a chain. There is a chain of guru, disciple, guru, disciple, guru, disciple, like that. That chain is starting from God himself. That knowledge is coming down to all of us now, even in this day of age, by Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON, who is giving this knowledge to all of us in the matter of Gita. That's how he named the Bhagavad Gita as Bhagavad Gita as it is. As it is means that knowledge which has not been contaminated by anyone. It is as it is. It is as pure as it was that time. It is the same now. Now, how do we say in Vedic scriptures there are no any faults, there are no any errors? So I can even challenge you. You all can try out to find out, is there any one single fault in Vedic scriptures, or which is said, which has been completely disproved? You all can try out. So, but we all will fail miserably because there is not even one statement which has been proved wrong. So that's why it is said. So now there are some statements in the Vedas which have been proved, like for example, cow dung, which was not considered as, which has been told in the Vedas that it is very pure. But till 1940, people could not accept it. And then when scientists discovered that the cow dung has antiseptic properties, then now everyone started believing, yes, it's true. And for example, I'll give you another example. Plants have a life. When did we all hear? You all please type in the chat. When did you all hear that plants have life? Who discovered that plants have life? More specific, who discovered the plants have life? I am actually just testing your basic elementary school. Okay, Subhash Chandra Bose. Okay, exactly. Jagdish Chandra Bose. Exactly. Okay, good. So Jagdish Chandra Bose, J.C. Bose, who in 1920, he said, yes, plants have life. And then he proved it. He went to America and then he discovered and he proved there also. But our Vedic scriptures say that plants have life since thousands of years before. But we wanted science to prove it. But if we had just believed the Vedic scriptures, we would have got this information long ago. And even Marconi and even J.C. Bose himself said that, of course, he did different experiments. Okay, so now let me not get into it. So in that sense, Vedic scriptures are infallible. And there are indefeatable Vedic truths that are mentioned. I'll give you just one single example. The current day embryology. Embryology means how the child grows in the womb of a mother. What happens at the first night? What happens at the second night? What happens in the first month? What happens in the third month? All the descriptions the current day scientists are trying to do with their highly sophisticated instruments. But much more specific details than what our modern science is proposing. In much more particular details are there in the Vedic scriptures. For example, Srimad Bhagavata Purana, in the 3rd canto of 33rd chapter, there is a detailed description of what all the transformations that a child in the womb undergoes. All the description is there, which was written thousands of years before. So how could they know? Because the knowledge is infallible. There is not only this knowledge, metallurgy, astrology, Vastu, yoga, so many things of this sort. Everything is there in the Vedic knowledge. But only thing is, people of India currently, they do not have that much of hunger which they have towards to so many things of the world. They do not have the hunger for the knowledge which is there inherent in our own country. That's why it is said, there is a statement which says that people of India, they're all sitting on a diamond throne, but they are looking for just a few broken pieces of glasses. They have such a depth of knowledge, which Americans are coming to India and trying to learn Vedas and yoga, meditation, everything. But the people of India are looking towards West, how to earn more money, how to earn many other things. So in that sense, if we just turn towards our own knowledge, which is there in the Gita and so many Vedic scriptures, we get much more immense benefit. And there are indefeatable Vedic predictions that are there in the world, especially in the Vedas. Example, Jesus Christ was there. That prediction is made. When did this all was predicted? 5,000 years before Vedas were written. And the existence of Chanakya, Ashoka, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Buddha, all these people's names are there in the scriptures, which was where the people used to come later in the time. And the relativity of time, which is there, which is discovered by Einstein, is also there in the Vedic scriptures. So that's how what we do. What do we understand? What is scripture? Scripture is a word of God, and scripture is a law book of life. Just like we all, as soon as you go to a purchase, let's say washing machine, when you purchase a washing machine, you get a manual. Similarly, when we come to this world, we get a manual for our own life of how to lead this world and how to perfect our own lives in this world. That is there, and it is an absolute knowledge, and it is a perfect science, and it is a means to understand God. Okay, so this is the same knowledge which was spoken by Krishna 5,000 years before, Lord Chaitanya 500 years before, and Srila Prabhupada 50 years before. So our knowledge doesn't change, Vedic knowledge doesn't change, but science keeps changing. You see, Nobel Prize was sometimes they propose a theory, Nobel Prize is given, but sometimes the next 10 years later, immediately the theory gets changed, and they all think, oh, how could we give a Nobel Prize to that, which now is defeated, and another theory has come up. So that's how it is so important. Scientific theories are constantly changing. So what are Vedas? So Vedas are the body of the knowledge. It is the word of God. It is aggregate of, it was written by Vedavyas, who is a literary incarnation of God 5,000 years before. So this is the entire body of the Vedic knowledge, which you can all see in the short span here. Short pic, you are able to see the entire body of the knowledge. There is Shruti and there is Smriti. And there are different Upavedas, Vedangas, and then Itihasas, Darshanas, Pancharatra, Tantras, Vedanta, Mima. There is a huge body of the knowledge. Especially of all this knowledge, most important is what? And that is coming up in this shloka. Very important shloka. Please try to focus now. This is the last shloka that we are discussing, last slide. So the entire Vedic knowledge is like a big banyan tree. And how many roots are there in the banyan tree? So many. So many are there in the ground, and so many are hanging from top. So all this Vedic knowledge is so huge. But if you want to understand this knowledge, it's almost impossible. But if you try to gain the essence of this knowledge, then that is sufficient. So what is the essence of this entire Vedic knowledge? That is there in Gita. So this is what the shloka says. Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopalanandanaha partho vatsa sudir bhokta dugdham gita amritam mahat. This Gita Upanishad or Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Upanishads. And the entire Vedas are compared to a cow, and Krishna is milking the cow, Arjuna is like the calf. The first milk is taken by Arjuna, and the remaining milk is taken by all the other beings. Similarly, the entire Gita knowledge was given to Arjuna first, and we are also all recipients of the same knowledge. So that's how, if we just try to hold on to this knowledge of Gita, then our life would become perfect. So if any of you have one single question, I would like to take, and then we would do a meditation, and then whatever other questions you may have, then we would all take it later on. So if any small and single question you have, you can ask now, and now later after that we do meditation, and then we will discuss any of you have any questions, please unmute yourself and please, or you can even, if you are able to unmute, you can unmute it and ask a question. If you are unable to unmute, you can please ask a question in the chat. Okay, you can raise your hand. Okay, we will unmute it. Okay, so you all, those who want to ask a question, you can raise hand and we will unmute, or otherwise second option is you can write in the chat. Yeah. Okay, one person asked a question, how to control mind. Okay. Okay, this question I would like to take it after the chanting session. Is there any, okay, Arju has asked a question to unmute. Okay, is there any question that is very relevant to just what we discussed today and other questions of benefits of chanting or how to control mind that we would be taking up? So I think Arju has a question. So we'll unmute him. Okay. Okay, anybody else has any question? Okay, I have Arju. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I have this question.
Yeah.
And suppose if a stranger asks me who is God, or if he asks me to prove that whether God exists or not, yes, certainly I can say that from my previous understandings, that I can say you are still not eligible to understand God or to find God. Still you don't have that eligibility to say that you are not even that much caliber to see God or find God. So again, the stranger who asked me that question, even he's just questioning the existence of God, but he's not ready to find Him or have that all knowledge to see the God. So finally, the stranger who asked me, does God exist, or do you prove me, that he even is not trying to find the God. And certainly the answer is not find out. Again, the people keep on asking whether God exists or not, but they're not ready to try to find Him, and they're even not ready to accept that. Do they have that eligibility to ask, or do they have that eligibility to ask that God exists or not? So finally, the answer is the answer itself drops into a dilemma. So could you please just explain something on this point?
Okay, what I understood from your question is that many people, they ask that God exists or show me. All that people do may ask, but they are not ready to accept the fact that they are not qualified, or they are unable to accept the fact that they need to earn the qualification to see God. So then immediately it proves that these people are not serious enough to understand God. They are not wanting to understand God. Let's say a student says, yes, I want to crack IIT JEE and I want to go into an engineering college. The students may say, but you see that early morning is just snoring and is not putting any endeavor in studies. He is not trying to become more serious in his exams. He is not studying. He is not doing a group study with anyone. What does this exactly show? That he is not very serious. He is just wanting to say that he is interested, but his actions do not speak it. So that's how in one side it shows that he is not very serious. Yes. So one thing is not just people those who speak it, but also we need people those who understand it. Yeah. Fine. So okay. So now what we will do is, let us all begin meditation, and whatever questions that you may have, that I will be taking after our after japa, because meditation is one thing which is most important, because it is said this meditation is the means by which we can understand God. God has given this process of chanting the names of God, because that becomes the means to understand and realize God. So this process is not just is being discovered by any human being. Because in Kali Santarana Upanishad, there is a shloka, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Iva Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyatha. There is said, there is no other means to understand God except the chanting of the holy names of God. So in that sense, that's how it is said. Very important is to chant the names of Krishna. And this mantra is what is mentioned in Kali Yuga for us all to chant so that we'll be able to realize God. And also, this has not only just realizing God, also it has a very tremendous effect on our own being. So if we do it with perfect attention and focus. So what we would all be doing. So now let us all forget all the plans or forget all the worries, all the sufferings or different troubles that you may have, or assignments that you may have, or different works that you may have. Just focus on this one thing for time being and just to chant the names of God. We are going to chant for almost 10 minutes. So let us all focus, and 10 minutes of meditation can give you, revitalize you in doing so many activities also. And it can give you tremendous concentration, and it can give you so much tremendous strength, spiritual strength. So let us all focus on chanting these names of God. And all of you have been put in the chat. There is one app which is called Counter app. So all of you can please use that Counter app and start counting how many mantras here that you are going to chant. We are going to chant 108 mantras. That means Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This we are going to chant 108 times, which hardly takes 10 minutes. So you all can use this app, and let us begin our meditation. So all of you, please close your eyes. So please close your eyes. And now one thing that we all can do is we all can turn on our videos, because we would like to see all of you are able to do it very good. So all of you can turn on your videos. So now there would not be an issue of bandwidth and everything, so that we will be able to do meditation properly. Okay. And another thing is, let us close our eyes completely, and let us use this Counter app to count the mantras. And let us breathe in slowly, breathe out slowly, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So let us chant. So you all can follow me, the invocation. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. So let us bring back, our mind would have been wandering somewhere else, or it might have been focusing what is the dinner that is being prepared. So many thoughts will keep coming. So let us all keep all of them aside, and let us refocus back in meditation on the mantra. Let us chant properly and hear properly. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. The last 12 mantras we are going to chant. So let us all refocus our minds and let us all avoid all the distractions and let us do it with our best. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. So I would like to give very congratulations and thank you to all of you for present till now and having done the meditation very wonderfully. So I would like to ask any of you, so please all of you can type in the chat, how was your experience of meditation? Please type in the chat, how was your experience of meditation? Okay, wonderful, blissful, calm and refreshing. And once again, getting lot connected to Krishna. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Blissful. Okay. So actually exactly the same. We become very peaceful because our mind most of the times is actually having so many other thoughts, and because of which we are unable to come into the present. Yoga, the very word yoga means actually coming into the present. So, but our mind takes us either in the future time or it takes us backwards in the past tense. So usually our mind is always flickering. One person just asked me a question just before. He asked how to control the mind. So, and here also, It helps cure depression. It awards peace of mind. So one thing is, officially, I would like to say that a session has ended, but I am available to all of you for if you have any questions that you would like to pose, or if you would like to hear the answers to your friends' questions, so that you can be present. And if you wish, you can also drop off. But also, I would like to say that tomorrow is going to be the most amazing session, which is going to be, I am going to keep the speaker very suspense, and also the topic of tomorrow is very excellent. You will be able to discover yourself. Till now you had been discovering God, and tomorrow you are going to discover yourself. That is Atma. So that tomorrow's session, never miss it. You are going to have wonderful, amazing thoughts on what is reincarnation, what is Punarjanma, what is near-death experience, what is out-of-body experience. And you might be very eager to know what are ghosts. So you are going to get answers to many of your questions like this. So it is going to be there tomorrow. So at the same time, so many of your, you can also invite your friends to join for the session tomorrow. Okay. So now I'd like to take up that question which was asked. Can you please tell how to control the mind? So one thing that we need to understand, when we want to understand about mind, when we want to control mind, one thing that we need to do is, we should know the nature of mind. Let's say you want to control a child, control not in a negative sense, but you need to take care of a child. First, we need to know what is the nature of the child. Similarly, we need to know what is the nature of the mind. Mind usually takes us either to the future or to the past. It has its two wings. It is like a bird which keeps flying in the entire universe, and it keeps flying, and it has two wings of past and present. So when we cut the two wings of the bird immediately comes to the ground. Similarly, we need to disconnect ourselves from the past and from the future. What is the means for that disconnecting from past and the future? That is meditation. And meditation is actually going to disconnect you from lamentation of the past and fear of the future. It brings you directly to the present. So when you are in present, you do not have worries of the past and fear of the future, so that you have actually time where you can act in the present. Most of the times we do not have time to act in the present, because we are having a great worry. We are having a great amount of fear. What is going to happen in the next? What is going to happen in the future? So that's why it is very important that we come in the present. And the means to control mind, there is no shortcut than doing meditation. And the meditation, best meditation is what we are all teaching all of you. That is using the mantra. There are various means of meditation that are there. People may say doing the breathing meditation, and doing a meditation on a lamp, focusing on the lamp, or focusing on a picture, focusing on a point. There are so many varieties of meditation, but it is found to be statistically, it is found most effective is mantra meditation, which is awarded by directly God himself. So that mantra, when we do chant, you can experience a great transformation. So please try out. Do not just hear and leave it. So please try out, and then you can actually see a great transformation that is going to happen. So try out for next 6 months regularly, sincerely, and dedicatedly, and determined way. Every day, get up early in the morning and chant at least for 10 minutes, and then experience a great blissful experience. Okay. So that is my one small suggestion to all of you, those who had asked that question. And so, okay, whatever, okay, one person also raised her hand, QCOM BTD, I don't know. Okay, I have unmuted. Okay, may I know? I'm trying to unmute, but I'm unable to unmute QCOM BTD. I'm not sure what is his name. Okay, any other question that you may have, you can type in the chat, or you can also ask, you can also raise your hand, and I'm going to unmute. So, but I'm unmuting QCOM, I'm unable to hear. Okay, now Kundan Kumar wants to ask a question. Okay. Yeah, Kundar Kumar, you can speak.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Please.
So, Prabhuji, as you said that means we should hear from the bona fide authority, and Vedas is the word of gods, and
Exactly.
so I want to say that I went through many lectures, video lectures from the YouTube, from the
Okay.
ISKCON devotees, and also from the Brahmachari who is from Vivekanand Mission Society.
Okay.
So I went through both. So when I went through that Vivekanand Mission one, they said they used to say about the same thing, but their saying is like they never say God and like these things. They just used to narrate the meaning of that Vedas into their own words, and exactly they used to the same, but ISKCON devotees used to say that God means like I can understand, so I accept all these things, but as you said that we should hear the bona fide authority. So how we will decide which one is the bona fide? And like as I said that I have been through both of them.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So how we will decide that which one is bona fide and which one is not bona fide?
Okay.
So my question is this one.
Yes. So I could understand your question. I'll just repeat. So what is the way? Because different organizations or different people, different gurus, they may speak differently. They may be speaking about Gita, but they may be having so many different ways. Who is God, or what is the means to attain God? Different people may be speaking different way. So how do I understand what is the right process? So this very important one thing is when we want to know about God, we should know what is the means that God himself has given. Because God is not a person who has just so God is not just a person who is there, but he is not giving any means to attain him. So just like there is a top floor, if you do not have a staircase, how do you go to the top floor? There must be a staircase where we are able to go from the ground floor to the top floor, or there is a lift. So that means, or the process is given by God himself, and that the means is there in the Vedas. What is the means to understand God? But only thing is we need to understand Vedas, and we need to also understand the qualification of a guru. So that's what is going to come in the future. So you'll be able to gain much more clearer understanding of what is the meaning of guru and who's qualified to be guru, and what is the qualification of a disciple. This also you are going to understand. And at the same time, most important, some other so our Srila Prabhupada would speak one thing. He would say that there have been many people may speak on Gita, and in Gita the essence is given by Krishna. He is saying man mana bhava madbhakto madhyaje mam namaskuru mam evaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Krishna is saying you can actually the means to attain me is man mana. You actually remember me in your mind. Man mana bhava madbhakto, become my devotee. Krishna is saying become my devotee. And third, madhyaji, worship me. Krishna is speaking. And mam namaskuru, Krishna is saying you actually offer obeisances to me. Like this, Krishna is speaking, specifically speaking about me. Krishna is speaking. But if we say, no, we do not have to worship God, we do not have to worship Krishna, or we do not have to we do not have to offer obeisances to Krishna, and we do not have to think of Krishna. Let us think of something else. Let us think of light. Let us think of something else, of things of this world. Then we are actually not following the words of Krishna. It is exactly the same. Because if Krishna is speaking something, and if we do exactly opposite, then what is the meaning? Isn't it true? So that's how it is very important. We need to understand scriptures in a right perspective. So for that, we need to gain the knowledge which is coming down in Parampara. As I just said today, The Prabhupada is coming down in the parampara directly starting from Krishna. Krishna to Brahma, Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasadev, Vyasadev to like this. It is coming down in the parampara. And finally, the tip point is Srila Prabhupada, who is giving the Bhagavad Gita as it is. So that's how it is very important that we gain this knowledge in parampara. If we do not, if there is a breakage in the parampara, we will not be able to understand it. So I hope I could give you answer. So, but one thing is, for you time being, you do not have to just worry. You complete this entire course of Bhagavad Gita. There is going to be a first level course this, and there is a second level course of another 7-day session. So once you complete this course, you will have a foundational truths of the entire spiritual life. And then you'll be able to judge yourself, and you'll be able to understand holistically what is spiritual life. That understanding you will be able to get yourself. Okay. And some other questions. Anyone, if you wish, you can raise your hand in this one. I would like to unmute you. Okay. Some people are asking about the recording of the meeting. Okay. That we would be trying to share with you all. And next, which books one should be reading who is initiated towards Sri Krishna? Very good question. Rutuja Pawar is asking this question. So beginner, a person who is just beginning a spiritual life, what are the books that he should be reading? So I think one of our devotees would have answered this question. Beyond Delusion and Doubt, Beyond Birth and Death. Okay. That is all. Yeah, perfect questions, perfect answers. Krishna book, Bhagavad Gita. So one thing is that we would all be doing to all of you is you can just for time being, you just attend this course without break. Be very prompt in attending and trying to understand what is being taught, and ask questions whenever you have a doubt. You just try to understand this very essential truths for next 15 days. Just try to attend this course and try to understand. And when you try to understand, you'll be able to get most of it. And then we ourselves will guide you more on this aspect, which exactly book that you can read. Okay. Because if you just start off now, you may get some doubts, because all the basic concepts we are going to cover in this next 15 days sessions. So you first try to complete this course. Okay. Any other question? Okay, I think most of you would have, I think, all exhausted with all the questions. You can ask any question anywhere, any sessions, or any question that you can put up, we can answer. Or if there are no questions, we can end our meeting. Okay. Okay, so I think I would like to thank all of you. I think it looks like no questions. It is already 8:50. So once again, thank you to everyone. Okay, one person asked me a question. Benefits of chanting. Okay, what are the benefits of chanting? Okay, there are multiple benefits and at different levels. One thing is we need to understand what is our being. We have different stages, different levels of our own being. Externally, you are able to see your own body, gross body, which you can see through your eyes. But this healthy, if you want to keep this physical being very healthy, you need to have our mental being also very calm, cool and collected, and also very in a mood of goodness, where you are able to think without too much of anxiety, without too much of tension, stress and everything. So that means our mental being is also there. So we need to have our mental being also well if we want to keep our physical or well-being as well. And there is a spiritual well-being, and then there is intellectual well-being. So chanting actually affects all these 4 levels. Actually, a person who is doing a meditation, he can also have a very good physical health. This is also being proved, because before you do meditation, if you can do pranayam of just Anulom Vilom or something like that, and then you begin your meditation. Just do Anulom Vilom for 5 minutes and then do meditation, and then you will have a tremendous experience. And then this meditation actually can keep your mind also very calm, very cool, and also it can refresh you. Just like suppose you, when you take a bath, immediately your mind feels refreshed also along with the body. Your mind also feels refreshed. Similarly, when you take the bathing of chanting, meditation, that also refreshes your mind. And not only that, it also increases your concentration, increases your mental, your intellectual absorption. You'll automatically start feeling your memory power is increasing, your focus is increasing. All these experiences you will get just by doing meditation. And the final thing and the most essential thing that is going to happen, that is your spiritual well-being. You will be connected with a powerful positive source, reservoir of positive energy, that is God. When you connect your by chanting the holy names, by doing meditation, you will be connecting yourself with Krishna, God, and you can draw source huge powers of positivity into your being, and you can connect yourself with God all that while. That's why whenever you are in a great turmoil or a great difficulty, please chant the names of God. Please do meditation. Then immediately you feel a positive change within your life. So these are all benefits of chanting, which I just briefed, but there can be one entire session of what all the benefits of chanting, which you will come to hear later. There is one separate session which is going to be there, that is called scientific benefits of chanting, which we will be doing it in the later. So I am very, very happy with all of you. So for continuing and staying, almost 18 people are there for this session till now to attend. So thank you very much, all of you. So we'll wind up for today, and we will invite all of you to join for tomorrow. And you can bring also your friends, your relatives, your family people, everyone, and gain this benefit. So thank you once again. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll thank and we'll wind it up. Hare Krishna. And you'll also be given feedback form, so you all can fill it up. Hare Krishna.